On the last day of October, Russia launched a massive missile strike on Ukraine. An air raid alert was announced throughout the country, except for the annexed Crimea. Explosions were heard in a number of regions. There were hits on civil and energy infrastructure facilities. The Russian army's attacks on peaceful cities are an attempt to intimidate Ukrainians and bring them to negotiations on terms that are unfavorable to Ukraine, experts say.
I think that Putin has committed himself to a set of military objectives in Ukraine that he does not have the ability to achieve, and he is increasingly desperate to try to achieve these objectives. He is committed and will not back down. What we are seeing in terms of the drone strikes and the aerial bombardment of Ukrainian cities is a sign of Russia's weakness. Kurt Volker, former US Department of State Special Representative for Ukraine, in an interview with Lithuanian National Radio and Television.
After a massive missile attack, hundreds of settlements were left without electricity. Only in the Ukrainian capital, about 350,000 apartments were de-energized and hundreds of thousands more without water. In less than a day, public utilities completely restored water supply and electricity returned to the houses of key residents by 6 p.m. Local authorities said the area has returned to a rolling blackout schedule.
Emergency services working 24 hours a day will continue their work and will be able to establish the supply of electricity. Also in the morning, scheduled power outages began. They will continue throughout the day.
On the social media pages of heat and power companies, Ukrainians thank utility companies for their work.
Thanks to all the employees, those who instantly go out and repair destroyed objects, you are heroes too. Alisa Koltisheva. All we have is working on electricity. Prepare as best as we can. It's clear that it's not convenient, but it's not a problem. Please restore everything that can be restored as soon as possible. Olga Komarova. I didn't think what I would say, but they restored electricity early. It was so good with an audiobook under the covers, and then I had to get up and walk for another hour and a half. But seriously, thank you very much for your work, Darina Dumanska.
Ukrainian public utilities are quickly coping with the consequences of Russian strikes on civilian infrastructure as well. On October 10th, Ukraine experienced one of the most massive attacks since the beginning of the invasion. Shell craters from Russian missiles appeared on the playground in Kyiv's Shevchenko Park and at the intersection of the central streets of the Ukrainian capital. The next morning, the intersection looked like this. A few days later, children were playing again on the playground. Instead of breaking down the Ukrainian defense, Russia's missile strikes are actually helping to strengthen it. Western allies are providing Ukraine with more and more advanced air defense systems. For example, the United States announced that it would transfer 8 NASAMS systems. Only one battery of this advanced system is capable of protecting a large city.
The United States has already provided 1,400 Stingers, which is short-range air defense, and our allies and partners have also provided considerable numbers of short-range air defense systems. The US have also committed 8 NASAMS and associated munitions, and 2 of those will be in Ukraine in the very near future, with 6 more to be provided later, from a publication on the Pentagon website with reference to a senior representative of the US Department of Defense.
A number of other countries also provide defense assistance, among them Germany. The first of 4 promised German IRIS-T complexes is already protecting the Ukrainian sky. One air defense battery, that is 3 launchers, can defend up to 100 kilometers of the front line.
We ask and will continue to call on the world to provide weapons to Ukraine. We need air defense equipment. Those funds that we have already voiced, IRIS-T needs more. This system works, and today it worked, and it worked with a 100% result. Yuri Ignat, spokesperson of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on the air of the national telephone.
Thanks to the supplies of partners, the Ukrainian air defense is becoming stronger and shows it in practice. On October 31st, air defense forces shot down 44 out of a little over 50 missiles.
Посилення протиповітряної
Strengthening air defense. In October-November, we will have more progress in this matter than in the last 8 years. Thanks to the partners for finally hearing our arguments. We hope to accelerate the delivery of the promised systems to protect all power facilities in our state.
While Ukraine's defense is getting stronger every day, the Russian military-industrial complex is failing to keep up with the needs of its army in face of hostilities. Proof of this is the import of low-quality sanctioned weapons from Iran. Reported by Roman Smoler, Valeria Nikipelova, UATV News.